Hello again. Hey, Mitchell here. Say it's been a while. I had a little bit of a surgery last Wednesday, so it's been 5 days. Uh, yeah, I've got a hernia repair, 5-inch scar, uh, back to 98%. Not doing any hurdles, but actually I never did. So hey, maybe I'm back to my 98%. Anyway, glad to see you. Glad to be back. I wanted to just uh, go over a few things again. Boy, we are in the thick of some real tough energy right now, and uh, I was witnessing it firsthand with loved ones, and had uh, uh, it's tough with loved ones because I know better than to give them advice. You just you can't. They need to find their own sources of advice. But what I did observe was, they went into a space where they wanted to help the mind feel better, and the mind just started with a glimpse of something that was in the news, and then they had to find out more and 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 more, and next thing you know, it's an endless dive. So uh, what I teach is how to connect with your polyvagal system, the where you can disconnect from sympathetic and connect with parasympathetic, and that's the way. That's a mode of intervention. Uh, you know, I've noticed with so many patients that uh, fixing the mind with the mind can't really happen. As Einstein said, you can't fix the problem with the same way that you got into it. So let's come out of the mind. What's our intervention? Well, let's come into the body. Remember, the body holds stress, anxiety, those um, chemicals that cause stress and anxiety uh, are being flooded into the body um, by signals from the brain that are saying, oh no, terrible things are happening. And our body is set up to react immediately. Back in the day, when you were getting charged by an angry tiger, that was your moment. Now when you see a news story that happened across the country, and by a bunch of people who you've only seen in the news and you've never really met personally, but that same response is triggered in the body, even though it's not that immediate danger that says that my life is uh, imminently going to be terminated unless I do something immediately. So the body still responds as if it were experiencing an immediate drastic threat. So let's get away from that. And then what can happen then is we start flooding the body with the other chemicals, the endorphins and the serotonins, the feel good chemicals. Those help to bring our brain back to a state of less emergence. Okay, so we're using the body to um, equalize the mind. Okay, and that's mindfulness. It really is when you're using all of your consciousness to access all of your being. We're a physical being, so use it. Use this physical being rather than just considering only what's going on in the thoughts. So here's how I like to look at it. Here's the brain, the thoughts, and they're just crazy. The body is getting the chemicals, and so the brain's number one priority is to protect the body. So it goes even crazier. Oh no, there's terrible things happening, and it gets worse and worse. Awareness, consciousness, usually is right there. But we can use our awareness, which I have talked about previously, the watcher, the observer, to take awareness away from the immediacy of the brain, of the thoughts, and try to focus it somewhere else. So when I use my awareness to use my ability to focus, to bring awareness away from the brain and into the breath. Now, I like to come right down here into the solar plexus. And I think right now, being in the solar plexus is very, very, very important. We need to be in our power. You know, a lot of meditations take you into the heart center, but right now, let's come into the solar plexus. Not only is this the power center, but for right now, this is a great place for intervention, especially with stress and anxiety. Why? Because this is the attachment point for your diaphragm. What does the diaphragm have to do with this? Well, when we're breathing correctly, we're breathing with the diaphragm. When we're breathing with the diaphragm has a hole right in the middle where the ventral vagal nerve passes. And by breathing, really activating that diaphragm, bringing awareness to the diaphragm, that diaphragm is stimulating this ventral vagal nerve. The ventral vagal nerve stimulates parasympathetic. Parasympathetic stimulates it's okay, safety, rest, relax, okay? So how do we do this? No, it's not about taking deep breaths. It's about taking proper breaths, okay? Deep breaths can actually exacerbate the situation. Deep breaths can continue to oxidize. You are becoming oxidized as you dive deeper and deeper into sympathetic. When we want to pull out of sympathetic, out of panic mode, we want to stimulate the parasympathetic, which is the ventral vagal. And we start just by, with our breath, but not deep breaths. We want smaller breaths. So we're going to breathe in and out only through the nose, okay? And tongue is at the roof of the mouth. And we're going to exhale twice as long as our inhale. Now our inhale is a slight inhale. It's only a 2 count. So it's an in, and then pause a little bit, and then out. 2, 3, 4. Okay? So we're just slowing down the respiratory process. When we're breathing lighter, it's telling the body to calm down, that everything's fine. When we're breathing fast and deep breaths, it's like, get ready because that tiger is coming after us. Okay, we don't want that. So back to what this process is. This is intervention. So awareness, the brain. The brain is in that rabbit hole. Can I just for a moment use my focus to come into this sternum, lower sternum, to the place where my diaphragm attaches, my solar plexus, and bring a breath here. Now it's a small breath, so I need to really concentrate with my focus on the breath, and that helps to pull the focus down. It's not going to be easy because the brain has so much more stimulation going. So to take that focus here is not going to be easy. But once you do it, then awareness begins to pull away from the mind. Awareness follows focus. So the watcher, awareness, the true self, the one, the beingness within, rather than the mind that we've been attuned to for our whole lives and that we've assumed that this is me, can start to relax a little bit. Okay, so that's it. It's that 1, 2, inhale, pause, and then the 1, 2, 3, 4, exhale. All that's doing is, well, when you're breathing, when you're exhaling longer than your inhale, you're actively turning off your adrenals. But not only that, but you are, when you're breathing in and out through the nose, you're conserving your carbon dioxide, you're changing, you're dating your body. You're oxygenating your body versus oxidating. Okay, so when you oxygenate, your organs are very quickly affected. One of the first organs to be affected is the brain. You're going to move from your amygdala to the hippocampus. The hippocampus is where you can start to trigger the calming hormones, the endorphins, the serotonins, those it's okay hormones. Okay, you've been pumping yourself with cortisol and adrenaline, and that can be addictive. You can also get dopamine hits by doing that, so that's addictive. So pulling your awareness down, slowing your breath down, you've just flipped two major switches. Okay, and just try that intermittently through whatever time period you have. If you've been doom scrolling for hours, you may be able to only access that awareness for a few seconds at a time. That's fine. Just come back to it, come back to it, come back to it. Your brain is going to say, oh, I need to look at this next one. And then you're going to look at the next one, but then you're going to say, oh, breathe. And then breathe. You're going to start to pull back from the brink. Finally, it's just like, oh, it's time to put that down. Because whatever it was where you were getting these dopamine hits, this adrenaline, this cortisol has been equalized by the serotonin, the endorphins that are the beginning of the awakening of the hippocampus just by simple calming breath. I'm going to come back to you soon with a full meditation. You have a wonderful day. Great talking to you. Good to be back. Bye-bye.